Welcome back to Cool Times Podcast, everybody. We are your hosts, Vince and Jenna.
Sure.
But today we are going to have a fun, engaging podcast to celebrate Women in Construction Week, but also Women in Construction Month.
Yes.
Y'all need your own year.
I feel like we do.
You do. You need your own year. So I know many podcasts ago, we talked about your past work experience in construction. We have a lot of new listeners. Yay. Subscribers. Yay. We do. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff. So we appreciate all you guys. And your story it's fun. I mean, I was raised in a construction background. You were raised in a construction background. What was
Did you ever think we would end up here?
Not a chance.
I
No
didn't
chance.
either.
But so talk about your upbringing in construction. What was that like?
I mean, I grew up, my grandfather had a construction company with a partner that my father and mother purchased from them when they were ready to retire. And my parents continued to run that company successfully for many years. And until my dad retired, really.
Yeah.
So
What did he do?
my dad was a more residential builder, but he specialized in concrete masonry. And he did that both residentially and commercially. So my favorite part of my memories of childhood is my dad would be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Let's go for a drive." And I was like,
Nice.
Okay. And yet, but somehow you never catch on. We end up going for a drive to check a job. And he's like, "Let's snap some lines."
Snap some lines.
So then we're snapping joint cutting lines so that the next day he's ready for his job.
Of course.
And I remember doing that on weekends. I remember doing that in the dark, in the middle of the week.
Wow.
But I was always rewarded with, ice cream or candy. So
Of course.
it worked out in my favor.
That's awesome. Even when we started dating, I went on a few of those field trips
You actually did.
with Gary
You
to
did.
drive around some job
Hey,
sites.
let's take a drive.
Okay, let's do it. You don't say no to Gary.
No, you really don't.
You don't. Yeah. What's the wildest or most unexpected thing you've experienced on a job site for your dad's company?
And my dad's company, I mean, we were mostly in basements. So
Poured a lot of basements. True.
there were a lot of basements. I wasn't actually on the sites
Correct.
doing the work, but I have stories about, what my dad had to deal with. And the basements were always where people would like to eliminate themselves. So my dad always had lots of stories of what he and his team had to clean up. And I am very grateful I was never around for that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the wildest.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And that still happens today, of course, both residentially and commercially, I'm sure.
So knowing what you know now you're co-founder, partner with me in Freez Construction. And we are 5+ years into it. And, say whatever you want about where we are, who we are, or anything like that. But put all that stuff aside. Jenna today is obviously wise, smart.
Thank you.
Versus probably, an 8-year-old who just wanted to ride along with
I just wanted
with
my ice
that,
cream
he
on
gets
the
some ice cream.
cheese.
What advice would you give day one Jenna today?
I remember as a kid always being really annoyed by having to like it was always under the ruse that we were going for like ice cream or something like that. And so it's like I wasn't fully engaged, right? I wasn't really I just wanted to get it done.
Sure.
And I think the advice I would give now is pay attention. Pay attention because you never know how those experiences of watching someone who is building a business, watching someone who is an entrepreneur, you will never know how those lessons will come back around and help you or what you can learn from them. I never pictured this in my life for sure. But there's so much of what especially being married to you, there's so much I observe between my mom and my dad. I was an only child. So I observe them on a regular basis working together.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't my mom's full-time job, but it was her full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
So just even watching their dynamic as a couple growing up, I think that prepared me to go into business with you as your spouse. And so there's lessons in that too. So it's always just pay attention to what's happening around you.
Sure. Wow.
That's been helpful.
What advice would you give Gary if he, you're riding around in his truck and let's say the Jenna today was in Gary's truck and Gary still owned and operated that construction company. You could give your dad a piece of advice today. What would you give?
So my dad, he still does this today. He will always write notes about his jobs or, what his tasks are on like small little pieces of paper.
Sure.
And then he can never find those little pieces of paper when he goes to look for them. So my advice would be to embrace like the types of things that can help you propel your business in a new direction.
Sure. Like technology?
Like technology. And I understand it's frustrating. I get frustrated with technology.
Sure.
But that's one of the things I can remember the arguments, and not arguments, but like just little disagreements where my mom would be like, you had that bid. Where is that bid? And it's usually scratched on like a small piece of paper. Or my dad's favorite was using 2x4s. Oh, yeah. He'd pull a 2x4 out of the back of his truck and he'd like write his bid, like all the measurements and stuff focused on his 2x4. And then he'd be like, oh, I think I used that 2x4 on something.
I was at your house sometime and I could hear Lorraine like yell at Gary, like, where's the paperwork for the invoice? I don't know what to bill this guy. Like poor Lorraine's working 9 to 5, comes home from work and she's embedded in the business, doing invoices and all that stuff. And,
that's how it works.
Yeah. And now we have Lorraine working for Freez.
She does work here. Yes. We pulled her out of retirement.
Oh, we did.
Sorry, Lolo.
She's a rock star.
She is.
Yeah. She's like superhuman.
She really is. And she always thinks about things differently.
Yes.
And I think that's such a benefit to anyone who's been able to work with her or be influenced by her.
For sure.
She's always approached things from a different point of view. And that's such a strength that she brings.
Yeah. I wish we could have her on today. We'll get her on. We'll get her on next year.
We'll see.
We'll see. If I get her enough wine, we can talk her in. Well, she's a tequila drinker now.
She is a tequila drinker now.
So I love that. Well, let's focus on women in construction. I've made some social media posts about women in construction, and I just feel that we need more women in this space. I had the pleasure of working with many women so far in this industry.
You really have.
And they're all super, super bright, motivated, organized, thoughtful, hardworking. Jessica Long. I think it's Allison from A King. I believe Mallory from Arco Design Build. She's new. She's rock star, right? Kate Lyle, who we had on the show, on the architectural side, and
even like on our supplier side.
Oh, I know.
Like Christina.
Oh yeah,
amazing, just a super person.
Yeah, it's awesome. So at the end of the day, there are some crazy stats about women in the construction space and how few there are.
It's actually surprising. Like, I feel like anyone who, especially in our industry, because it's smaller, you go to, the conferences, come to the networking events, you're starting to see more people, right? Even in the people that you're working with, you're starting to see more women show up, which is really, really awesome. And I love seeing that growth over the past few years. But we still only are making up like 11% of the entire construction industry.
11.
Yeah.
What was it before? You had a stat on that. It was a wild stat too. You added X amount of people and it was still like
Well, right. That's a 50% increase over the last 10 years. That's a 50% increase. And we're only at 11% of the entire construction industry. So there's definitely room for more of us. And you're seeing more of us, which is a pretty exciting thing.
Well, I'm going to ask you a fun one here. If you could create a women in construction mentorship program, what would the number one lesson or skill you'd pass down?
I think it would be about building like your self-worth and your confidence in what you do, right? Because if you think about it, coming into an industry that is male dominated, we're only at 11% still.
Yep.
Like we could tend to be very intimidated. It can be intimidating, right? Sure. And my lesson and my focus, I guess, in mentorship would be to like know your skill set, have confidence in that skill set, and learn how to communicate it correctly, right? I think that's important. I think sometimes, men and women are different, contrary to
we are
certain people, certain things happening in our world around us. Men and women are in fact different.
Careful now.
And I know I'll probably get canceled for that. So that's fine. Golden Podcast is now canceled. And it has to be replaced by someone, whatever. It's fine. We lead differently.
In a safe space.
We approach things differently.
Sure.
But I even noticed that like in how you and I communicate, like out of the two of us, one of us is the louder one.
No.
It might be hard for people to know who that is. But
I disagree.
One of us is louder than the other.
How do we share an office?
It's very challenging for me. I wear headphones a lot.
I think my favorite is taking the cold calls.
Oh gosh, I had so much fun when you do that. That's one of the things that I enjoy. Again, we're getting off topic, but that's okay. That's one of the things I really enjoy about working alongside of you is you are the kind of person that's always willing to share your expertise. And it doesn't matter if who's on that other side of that cold call, whether it's a female, whether it's a male, you are willing to spend a little bit of time and educate them about what they might be missing in their approach.
Sure.
And I think that's really
Have you ever had a job where you had a cold call?
Never.
Oh.
I know. I love that I was able to.
It teaches you a lot.
Escape that. No, it does. It really does. And I don't envy anyone that has to do that. It's
tough.
A grind.
Imagine calling someone every day and they don't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know. I get all of those spam calls all the time and they never answer the phone.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
We really want to talk to you. Leave me a message.
Mm-hmm. And they do, and you just delete it, and it's fine.
Certain ones, yes.
So you've walked many, many, many cold storage construction jobs in our industry. You've brought them many sites with different GCs and different building types, and got to meet most of all of our amazing field crews. Give me some memorable moments or some cool stories about walking on some of these job sites, from a woman's perspective, walking this job.
I don't know if it's would shift whether being male or female, but like walking onto an ASRS that's already underway, like that was just wild to me. Like to be able to see how that's built and like all everything that goes into building one of those.
That's tall, eh?
Massive.
135 feet. That was a good one.
That was a good one. And it was just really awesome to see how everyone, comes together because those can be dangerous. So how everyone kind of comes together to make sure that everyone goes home at night.
Yeah.
Huge.
Your favorites, the box and box construction or what?
Yeah, you like to stay inside. Especially when it's cold.
Mm-hmm. How about when it's hot? Have you ever had to walk an exterior job in Florida in the 100-degree humidity at 150%?
No, I usually just let you do this.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Indeed it is. Mm-hmm. What's it like being a leader at Freez, especially when working alongside of me?
It's challenging. Every day is a challenge.
Who's the boss?
Of what?
Exactly.
Of what is how you answer that question.
All of our listeners can't wait for the banter right now. They're all just waiting for us to get in a fight.
Of what?
Exactly. What project are you most proud of?
I think it's probably our Unify in Allentown that we did.
The first big one?
Our first big project, because I know we had Jake on the podcast and we talked about this specifically, but we were real new then.
Oh God, yeah.
And for them to put that kind of trust in us, like that was huge. But because they had put that much trust in us, I knew that there was no way you and I were going to let them down. Whether we were getting out there and doing the work ourselves, whatever it was going to take, we were going to deliver that project for them. And I really feel like we approach that for all of our projects now. We always want to come from that place. But that one I'm particularly proud of because it was a really big moment and a really cool project. Like,
cool.
Literally.
Tough project.
Yeah.
Fun. Tough.
Tough, of course.
Insane schedule. Yeah, that was a wild one.
Back on it and had it be like one of the largest ones in the U.S. at that time.
It was the largest box of that year. It was 1 million square feet. And
awesome.
500,000 that was box. And yeah, I remember that because that was the pandemic, and then all of a sudden, like, there was some serious price increases that were going to happen. TrueCore held we used the TrueCore panels. Yeah, they were brand new.
They were brand new.
Dude, and they stepped up to the plate. That company said, no, we're holding our pricing, dude. We're doing this deal. And that was such a huge project for not only us, them too. They were new too.
Yeah.
We were both going in new on that. I got to give our boy Charles Woolley a shout out. I mean, he's the one that told Jake, it's like, yeah, they got it. They can do it.
Yeah. I'd say that's probably one of the ones I'm most proud of.
That's a good one. Absolutely.
So let me ask you, when you work with women in the industry, and like obviously we have some women working in our office here, like how would you describe the value that they bring?
Oh my goodness, it's invaluable. I mean, it's unbelievable. Women have such a phenomenal perspective on their approach is different. They look at things different. They analyze data different. We're all emotional. Emotional intelligence is different. You know me. I like to have fun in the office. I like to play. It's fun to make everybody feel comfortable in a workspace. Having leaders like you, Tina, and Maureen in the office is phenomenal because all three y'all are super bright. It's such a value add to all of us at Freez. Like, all the men should be thankful.
I think they are.
That we have you.
I think they are.
We have phenomenal
female today, huh?
We have female thermal carpenters.
Yeah, we do.
We have some fantastic talent.
And they're so detailed.
And they work different than the males do. And you can put them on the detail type stuff in the field, and they learn fast, and they love it, and they go, and they're so good. I love seeing it. Yeah. Love seeing it.
I think women, some interesting strengths, like from my other background, women are really good at recognizing patterns. That's something that is a strong suit for women. And even like hidden ones, maybe ones that are not, just out in front of you. They're good at assessing, maybe what's missing or what's going unmeasured. Like, remember when we used to waste a lot of money on material?
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore, do we?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Yeah. I think there was one job site that I visited, and I was like, do we do this all the time? And you're like, yeah. I was like, not anymore. Yeah. So that's one thing that I think is really helpful to have women around for. Another one that, and I don't know if you noticed this at all, but women have the ability to kind of influence in stealthy ways.
You're kidding.
No. Have you felt that?
No, I know.
It's not manipulation. It's really not.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you're going to call it manipulation. Of course you are.
Manipulating.
But I like to help you get to places that are going to help you. Because again, the end goal is always the same, right? It's going to be mutually beneficial. But sometimes people have to get there themselves. One of the things that I think women do well is modeling. So like, if you're wanting something done a certain way, doing that till others catch on. I do that a lot with safety because, again, safety is number one. It's a core thing that we focus on here at Freez. Really, but you are always going to have people who are maybe cutting corners with that. Like maybe, the safety glasses aren't there. Or maybe, I took the head off for this or that or whatnot. Or, whatever it might be. But one of the things that I like to do is no matter what is make sure I'm super ready for that. And one of the things I like to say is, I don't take chances. It only takes one mistake. Yeah. I'm not messing around with that. And that's just a behavior that I think we can model. And I think we would have influence with that.
I agree with that. So. Yeah. You're very good at finding all the things, like all the things that, let's say there's like a crack either in the system or there's a gap in the procedure that something's not getting done. You're so good at filling that gap, fill the void. Like, no, you do it this way. And you're boom, 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 methodical about it. You tackle it. And you just do it. You're like, I got to do this. I never thought of that. We got to do that.
Well, again,
stay in compliance.
Our brains are different. So we think differently.
You do. Of course you do. You guys rock. We all know that. But I mean, obviously, shout out to all the wives and or girlfriends out there that support their men in the field and the ones that have to work late and travel and all that stuff. Like,
it's a lot.
Listen, we do not, when you are in a healthy marriage relationship, when you're in that relationship, it's super important to have your partner on board because this industry is demanding. We all work around the clock. Let's talk cold storage construction.
Cold storage, very.
We work around the clock.
Yes.
We work nights, weekends, and travel a ton. It's very demanding on that. And in order to be successful, you need to do that. You need to get in the field. You need to get to these conferences and do all these things. And if you don't have a supportive spouse, husband, really wife, whatever, dude, it's going to be a long road for you. Yeah. And I've met so many fantastic wives that they're part of that success, right? They really are. Jen King.
Yep.
She's a huge part of Brian King's success, right?
100%.
Dana Brofsky, right?
Huge playoffs.
You think of all that stuff, right? You name it, all of it. You got to be supportive of that matter.
Those are also women in construction, by the way.
They are. Well, technically, yes, they are.
They are.
They are.
They totally are. So this is a month for celebration of them as well.
Yeah. For sure. Absolutely.
So what do you think is, if we want to change that 11%, if we want to get that 11% to a larger number, what are things we could be doing? How do we pull more women in?
I think we're already doing it.
I think definitely. You can see that it's a 50% increase.
I think we're doing it. We're doing a great job of that because all the construction and project management courses at these colleges, engineering courses, more and more women and females, the women that they're entering that space. They're getting degrees in that. They're going to college fairs and you're seeing, fishers and Arco's name, Kings and Size and Ryan companies and all these guys, you see all these companies hire these women.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's awesome. And strong women.
Totally.
And that's, and they're all fantastic to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll run across with anybody in our industry, you'll run across people that, you know, that don't make it very long because they don't value their trade partners, subs, suppliers, whatever. But
that's okay. Sometimes thoughts escape us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That won't escape me.
That's okay. It happens.
I had an idea, but
I do think you're seeing more of that, but I also think like as an entrepreneur and someone who owns a company, like there's simple things. There's simple things like looking at the language that you're using in your hiring materials. So like, for example, if you're looking for strong hands-on workers, that's not necessarily like calling to the female population, right? But if you're looking for like if you say something like we value problem solvers and detail-oriented team players, that applies to anyone.
Yeah.
It really does. So I think small shifts in terms of evaluating the language that you're using, even evaluating if you're using images, certain images in your materials,
sure,
like make sure there's females in them. Like that kind of stuff is super easy to do.
Dude, it just dawned on me. Maggie's back. Maggie's back in the industry.
Right, Maggie.
At Bruca.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back, Maggie.
Welcome back to the panel world. Welcome back to the panel world. Still want to know why you haven't called me yet. Unreal.
It's always about him, Maggie.
Unreal.
It's always about him.
Maggie. She's great. Yeah.
There's really just amazing women in our industry.
Yeah.
We're super blessed. I feel super blessed to get to call them friends as well. I mean, that's super special.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. It's fun. The industry's fun and we're blessed, and it's obviously, we are blessed to have y'all at Freez, obviously, but I'm even more blessed to have you as my and my podcast partner, sidekick. You know, we know who runs the show.
I don't like being on this side of the table because I don't have my soundboard in front of me,
I'm not gonna
so I can't press all of my buttons that I usually play with.
No,
it's just unfortunate for me.
Has your leadership style changed from when we started this company to today?
In certain ways, it has. I mean, when we started this company, it was always to provide our people a better workplace than we came from.
Okay.
To make those types of shifts. So people first leadership has always been my main focus. But I think that can sometimes be a really slippery slope. You still have to keep the company running, right? Like you want to see and value and hear each person out, but yet you still have to keep a company running, right? So you have to walk a fine line and this is a lesson that I think I've learned in leadership is I've had to walk a fine line between I want to hear you and I value your opinion, but also we have a company of however many people that you're employing that also has to take precedent, right? Because what's good for one of our employees can be good for all of our employees, right? It needs to be good for all of our employees. And so I think that's been kind of a pivotal shift in how I assess leadership. I don't know if that relates at all to you in terms of how we've grown, but I know that when we started, I always wanted to be about our people. And I don't think that's really changed.
That hasn't changed.
That's the heart of.
We've always wanted to take care of our people. Didn't matter what position you're in. It's just create an environment that you just love so much. You don't want to leave.
Right.
And I think that's why we haven't had a lot of turnover.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're very blessed.
Yeah. No,
because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think that sometimes it can be a challenge to navigate because if certain people, it's really even like in our leadership team, like we've had disagreements and things like that where people are like, no, we're not doing this, or I don't want to do this, or this isn't the right thing. But if you pull back from just that small thing that you're focusing on and you look at the picture of the company as a whole, is it best for the company as a whole? Is it best for all of our people as a whole? And we've had to make some hard decisions in terms of that situation. And within our leadership team, we've had some disagreements, but I think we've gotten past them. And we've all recognized that, oh, yeah, it was for the best of all of our people at that time. So we heard them out. I could understand where they were coming from, but I still couldn't go with that decision at that time. So that's probably been the biggest shift for me. Staying true to the core that you set, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then your growth will challenge that.
We were talking about just kind of that being a supportive spouse, husband, wife, whatever. It doesn't matter at this point.
Supportive partner.
You got to be a support partner. We travel a lot. We're our nights, weekends, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What's your approach to balancing work, leadership, and life outside of construction? Do you have a work-life balance approach?
No, we don't have that anymore. We gave that up. We gave that up when we became entrepreneurs. No, I think it's hard, and it tests you, especially if you're in a partnership and you're both in this entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter if it's in the same field or not, but it is setting those boundaries for yourself of where does my work end and how do I signal to myself that it ends, right? Like if you are for example, like if we're at dinner, we have our phones, that's not work-life balance because you constantly have that desire to check that. It's setting parameters. So like for us, and we get away from this sometimes, but it's setting a phone station in your house. Like, okay, the phones go here. If you want to check your phone, you have to stand at that station in an uncomfortable spot, finish it, and then go back to your family time, right? Like we have to set those kind of boundaries. Mm-hmm. Otherwise we could work 24/7. And then that's
technology has allowed us to do that.
Yes. And those are good things, but they're also that's what tests you as a person then, to set the right boundaries for yourself and for your partnership.
We're wrapping up here, so I want to ask you one more question any big news for Freez, any big goals, any big projects on the horizon you want to talk about, or you want to keep this a secret? I think we should keep it a secret.
I mean,
what do you
are you telling me?
No.
Are you telling me what to do?
No.
That wouldn't be a first.
Stop.
Oh,
come on now. Come on now.
No, I don't know that there's anything big. I just, it's weird. It's like, I just put one foot in front of the other every day.
Yeah.
Like when we started this company, that was how we survived. Okay, we're just gonna take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And we still continue to do that to this day. I only think about the larger picture when I have to. When we're making decisions that are going to impact our entire team, that's when I think about the big picture. Otherwise, in the day-to-day, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. And I think it's like we're keeping our eyes on our own paper, right? We're just focused on what we're doing. Absolutely. And the outside noise of what's happening around us.
Yeah,
it doesn't really get in.
Doesn't get in. Don't faze me.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for where Freez is going. I'm excited that we're going to continue to see growth in our industry, growth in our organizations that support this industry, our associations, new associations that are dedicating time and resources and efforts to be a part and to help grow. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to grow our team here at Freez. I do see that on the horizon, that we will be adding to our team here. We just need more people. With the same mentality and can understand our culture. I can see that. And proud of what our team is doing. And I feel blessed every day to work with the people that we get to work with, both here in the office and in our field. They don't exist without them.
True that. If you could build anything from scratch with unlimited resources, what would you build and why?
Considering that you and I have gone on, or are we talking like an actual structure? If I could build anything from scratch.
It could be a company, it could be a house, it could be anything you want.
I went in one direction because we do currently have some building projects that we're working on. And there are, every single time you do it, I think you find you're like, oh shoot, I really wish I would have done that. Or I really wish I would have done that. Yeah. So, but I think one of the things that's closest to my heart is I would really like to build I don't know if it's a nonprofit, I guess it would be called that, but like a sanctuary for animals. That's like, I don't know, around here, just the amount of animal dumping that we've seen has been really hard on my heart. So I would like, we took in one stray, but I don't know how many more we can fit with our travel and work-life schedule. So I would love if I had that unlimited to create a space, like a whole sanctuary for animals, to hire full-time staff, to have vets on staff, and just, I don't know, it'd be my happy place.
That'd be cool. I love doggos.
Yeah. Doggos. Or a winery.
Ooh.
Let's go with the dogs first.
Yeah, let's go with the dogs first. Yeah. And then we can finish our other residential projects.
Sorry.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're going to wrap up with some this or that question. Okay?
Sounds good.
Is that cool?
I figured you would.
I figured you would know that we would. I'm just trying to figure out what.
We good here? We done with that?
What? Girl.
Yes.
You're fine. This has been fun. So fun.
Mm-hmm.
You rock. So I can't wait for the entire world to get to know you better with these questions. Here we go. Startup culture or corporate environment?
Startup culture.
Networking event or quiet night in?
Oh my God, quiet night in. I love networking. Don't get me wrong. I love meeting people. I love being around people. But like my recharge time is quiet night in.
Buts here. You got one or the other. Favorite book or favorite podcast?
Favorite book.
Face-to-face meeting or an email?
Face-to-face meeting.
Mentorship or coaching?
Mentorship.
Risk-taking or play safe?
Risk-taking. Work-life balance or all in for the job? The reality is all in for the job. That is entrepreneurship.
This is an easy one. Quick decisions or thorough analysis?
Thorough analysis.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is where you and I differ.
Pizza or tacos?
I can't have tacos. Wait, chips and salsa. That's it.
Yeah. Beach vacation or mountain getaway?
I don't want to pick. Can I go from the beach vacation to the mountain getaway?
You can do whatever you want. You're Jenna. You can do whatever you want. Summer heat or winter chill?
Oh, summer heat.
Interesting. Fine.
Okay, not Texas summer heat, but like just like a Cabo summer heat maybe.
I'm in for that.
Okay.
I am in for that. The greatest sing-along song of all time, Don't Stop Believing, or I Got Friends.
Friends in Low Places.
That's yours?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jenna, that was fun.
Super fun.
Women in construction. Here she is. Everyone wanted me to interview you, Jenna. Here we are.
All around construction. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah. Hands down. You rock. You're the nucleus around us all.
I don't like that word.
I know.
You should pick a better one.
It's like moist.
Yeah. Okay, we're done here.
No. Oh, we're done here. Oh, there it is, guys. We needed one word done here. We needed one of those. Awesome. To all of our sponsors, by the way, you all rock. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
This episode is brought to you by Iceberg Mechanical, a nationwide leader in commercial and industrial refrigeration solutions.
From design and installation to service and maintenance, Iceberg Mechanical delivers reliable, energy-efficient systems for cold storage facilities coast to coast.
Iceberg Mechanical, keeping it cool every step of the way.
This episode is brought to you by Seneca Holdings, the industry leader in specialty door solutions for cold storage and beyond.
From innovative designs to unmatched reliability, Seneca provides the solutions your facility demands.
Seneca Holdings, opening doors to smarter solutions.
Because of you got to upgrade all of our fancy equipment, new signs.
New signs.
Yeah. All that fun stuff. Thank you guys so much. You guys all rock. Please hit that subscribe button. You guys help us grow the podcast, get the word out as we talk all things cool about the cold storage construction industry. We are your hosts, Vince.
And Jenna.
That's it. Until next time on Cool Times Podcast, we will ciao you.